All right, this has been bothering me for a long time. We have to finish chapter 1. All right. Oh, I got my blanket. I'm super cozy. Let's read. It's kind of hard. I can't really. Well, I'll be half cozy, I guess. All right. I'm going to try not to interrupt very much, but I'm just going to backtrack a little bit to, I'm on page 8. All right. We're going to start with a quote from The Last of the Mohicans. I will find you. No matter how long it takes, no matter how far, I will find you. Nathaniel Takora in The Last of the Mohicans. One of my favorite games growing up was Kidnapped and Rescued. I know many little girls who played this or wished they had. To be the beauty abducted by the bad guys, fought for and rescued by a hero. Some version of this had a place in all our dreams. Like Sleeping Beauty, like Cinderella, like Maid Marian, or like Cora in The Last of the Mohicans. I wanted to be the heroine and have my hero come for me. Why am I embarrassed to tell you this? I simply loved feeling wanted and fought for. This desire is set deep in the heart of every little girl and every woman. Yet most of us are ashamed of it. We downplay it. We pretend that it's less than it is. We are women of the 21st century, after all, strong, independent, and capable, thank you very much. And who is buying all these romance novels? Think about the movies you once loved and the movies you love now. Is there a movie for little girls that doesn't have a handsome prince coming to rescue his beloved? Sleeping Beauty, Snow White, The Little Mermaid. A little girl longs for romance, to be seen and desired, to be sought after and fought for. So the Beast must win Beauty's heart in Beauty and the Beast. So in the gazebo scene, in The Sound of Music, the captain finally declares his love to Maria by moonlight and song, and then a kiss, and we sigh. You know what? When I hear Sound of Music, it makes me think of the nuns singing, how do we solve a problem like Maria? How do you catch a moonbeam in your hand? I don't know why I always liked that song. How do you solve a problem like Maria? Isn't something stirred in you when Edward finally returns at the end of Sense and Sensibility to proclaim his love for Eleanor? Then you're not married, she asks, nearly holding her breath. No, he says, my heart is and always will be yours. Or how about when Friedrich returns for Joe at the end of Little Women, or the sunset scene at the bow of the Titanic? And we can't forget Braveheart, how William Wallace pursued Miron with flowers and notes and invitations to ride. Excuse me. She is captured by his love, riding off bareback with him in the rain. Honestly, all I think about when I think of Braveheart is freedom. You know, that's like the only picture in my mind. Hold on, I have to get cozy. I want to get cozy. All right, I feel much better. All right. Come on now, wouldn't you want to ride through the Scottish Highlands with a man like Mel Gibson? No, but I'll take Jamie from Outlander, hands down. When John and I began to date, I had just come out of a 3-year relationship that left me wounded, defensive, and gun-shy. John and I had been friends for many years, but we never seemed to connect in the romance department. I would like him and he would want to remain just friends. Friend zoned. That's never fun. He would feel more for me and I would not for him. You get the picture. Until one autumn, after he had become a Christian and I was desperately seeking, our spiritual journeys and the desires of our hearts finally met. Oh. John wrote me letters, lots of letters, each one filled with his love for God and his passion for me, his desire for me. He spent hours carving a beautiful heart out of a manzanita wood, then attached it to a delicate chain and surprised me with it. I still cherish the necklace. I came out to my car after my waitressing shift ended to find his poetry underneath my windshield. Verses written for me, to me. He loved me. He saw me, knew me, and pursued me. I loved being romanced. That makes me remember a time, long time ago, like 25 years ago, I don't know. I flew to South Carolina for a friend's wedding, and her husband-to-be's best friend flew with me, and we had just met on the flight over, and we really hit it off and really liked each other. I think we were there for 2 weeks. I totally forgot about this. I've not thought about this in so long. I think I was 18 at the time. Man, I really liked that guy. His name was Mark. But he was in a band. He was in a little I think alternative, I don't even know what genre to call it. Just, 90s, mid-90s type alternative music. But when we were in South Carolina, he played a song he wrote for me. And he wrote it on notebook paper that was all folded up. I kept that forever. Anyway, there's nothing guys, if you're watching this, the little things matter. The little things, they matter. Okay. I'm cozy, but now I feel like I'm suffocating by... Okay. Anyway, sorry, that just... Thank you, Stacey Eldridge, for reminding me of one time a guy wrote a song for me. It just made me feel so special. All right. When we're young, we want to be precious to someone, especially daddy. As we grow older, the desire matures into a longing to be pursued, desired, and wanted as a woman. Why am I so embarrassed by the depth of my desire for this? Asked a young friend just the other day. We were talking about her life as a single woman and how she loves her work, but would much rather be married. I don't want to hang my life on it, but still I yearn. Of course, you're a woman. Now, being romanced isn't all that a woman wants, and John and I certainly are not saying that a woman ought to derive the meaning of her existence from whether or not she's being or has been romanced by a man. But don't you see that you want this? To be desired, to be pursued by one who loves you, to be someone's priority? Most of our addictions as women flare up when we feel that we are not loved or sought after. At some core place, maybe deep within, perhaps hidden or buried in her heart, every woman wants to be seen, wanted, and pursued. We want to be romanced. I do. It's true. Oh, I gotta get comfortable. It feels good to feel not like this. My rat's nest here. It feels good to be seen. I agree with this. We as women want to be seen. I don't know. I just feel I don't feel like it's abnormal to say that. I think it's pretty accurate that women want to be wanted and pursued, right? When I was a little girl, I used to love World War II movies. I imagined myself being in them. I dreamed of growing up, braiding my hair and then tucking it up under my helmet. I planned to disguise my gender so that I could join in. I sensed that the men in these movies were part of something heroic, valiant, and worthy. I longed to be a part of it. Oh, wait, what am I... What's going on? Is this a different author? I think it's a husband and wife who wrote this book. And I'm thinking they maybe take turns on chapters or parts. Am I not listening to the own book that I'm like? She just said she wanted to disguise her gender so she could be a part of it. Sorry, I've been up all night, you guys. So I pulled an all-nighter tonight. I have an aversion to technology and got a new laptop today. Thank you, Jane. Mwah, my angel. And I was trying to set up my webcam. My stupid microphone was not working. It was muting my computer. Like, it took me all day to figure this out. So finally we're there. But it took me all day. Okay, we're going to start over with this. So it says, an irreplaceable role in a great adventure. Because I think there's three things that they're trying to say that, like, women desire, right? To be romanced, and, like, to play an irreplaceable role, and beauty, to unveil beauty. So we're reading thing number 2. When I was a little girl, I used to love World War II movies. I imagined myself being in them. I dreamed of growing up, braiding my hair, and then tucking it up under my helmet. I planned to disguise my gender so that I could join in. I sensed that the men in these movies were part of something heroic, valiant, and worthy. I longed to be a part of it too. In the depths of my soul, I longed to be a part of something large and good, something that required all of me, something dangerous and worth dying for. There's something fierce in the heart of a woman. Simply insult her children, her man, or her best friend, and you'll get a taste of it. A woman is a warrior too, but she is meant to be a warrior in a uniquely feminine way. Sometime before the sorrows of life did their best to kill it in us, most young women wanted to be a part of something grand, something important. Before doubt and accusation take hold, most little girls sense that they have a vital role to play. They want to believe there is something in them that is needed and needed desperately. Think of Sarah from Sarah Plain and Tall. A man and his young children need her. Their world is not right until she becomes a part of it. She brings her courage and her creativity to the West and helps tame it. I don't even know Sarah Plain and Tall. I know my throat hurts and I need some hot tea. Whew. At least let me get a drink of water. I have my Berkey. I have everything set up. All my supplements and my Berkey right there. In hopes that all I need to do is just fill my shaker bottle. That was my shaker bottle that went flying. I'm thinking maybe I'll lose weight if I have it ready and available in my room. So I have my big Berkey, and so I have good water on hand. I've got my protein powder. Have I made a shake? Not one. I haven't made one. But I have my good intentions glass. So let me get a drink of water. It says joy, fulfilled, stable, protected, thriving, inspired, excited, love. I feel all of that and I accept it. If you haven't done this, you should do it. Take a Sharpie and write on a glass. Love, peace, joy, patience. God knows I could use some of that when I'm driving. Okay. Sarah Plain and Tall. She goes and tames the Wild West. All right. We are awed by the nurses in Pearl Harbor, the movie Pearl Harbor. This is an old book, so all the shows and movies that were relevant when this was written, How in the midst of a horrifying assault, they bring their courage and strength to rescue the lives of hundreds of men. The women in the Lord of the Rings we know Lord of the Rings. I just watched Rings of Power. I loved it. I love Lord of the Rings. The women in the Lord of the Rings trilogy are valiant and beautiful. Women like Arwen, Galadriel, and Eowyn. I don't know if I said them right, but I know Galadriel. They changed the fate of Middle-earth. And what about women like Esther and Mary and Ruth? They were biblical characters who had irreplaceable roles in a great story. And Susanna was in the book of Daniel, which got removed from the Bible at the Council of Nicaea when all these big fat political men sat around and decided which books would create the Holy Bible. FYI, if you haven't heard of the Council of Nicaea, look it up. Also, I think the British Crown owns the copyright or something, the rights to the King James or the Bible. It's crazy. Don't get me started. Don't get me started. But Susanna was a woman in the Bible who was wrongfully accused. These two men at a well, were trying to rape her, and she defended herself against them and fought them off, and then they dragged her to the city to stone her alive and say she was a whore or whatever. And Daniel witnessed the whole thing, and he spoke up and spoke the truth and spared her life. And so really, Susanna, the story of Susanna is that virtue, I think it's virtue prevails. And to me, that's really important because my experience has been, and I'm not going to go into my whole story, but I have a pretty evil ex-husband. He has a lot of money and power, his family. And in the past, my experience has been that evil prevails. So ever since I learned of the story, the actual, what happened with Susanna in the Bible, I have been proclaiming that virtue prevails. Truth cannot be hidden forever. So there's a quote by Buddha. It says, 3 things cannot long be hidden: the sun, the moon, and the truth. And I proclaim 2025 a year of truth coming out and justice being served for everybody. All things that have been hidden in secret are going to be exposed to the light. You just mark my words. It's true. Anyway, okay, so Susanna, I'm going to add her to that list of great biblical women. We've got Esther, Mary, Ruth, Susanna. They were biblical characters who had irreplaceable roles in a great story. Not safe, air quotes, not safe and nice women, not merely just sweet, I'm just a biblical trad wife. No, they were fierce too, but passionate and powerful women who were beautiful as warriors. Why do I love remembering the story of canoeing in the dark? Of canoeing in that dark beauty of the Tatons so much? Because I was needed. I was needed. Not only was I needed, but like Arwen, I was irreplaceable. No one else in that canoe could have done what I did. Women love adventures of all sorts, whether it be the adventure of horses. Most girls go through a horse stage, or whitewater rafting, going to a foreign country, performing on stage, having children, starting a business, or diving ever more deeply into the heart of God. We were made to be a part of a great adventure. Amen. I believe that. Fuck yeah. Can I cuss on YouTube? I don't know if I can cuss on YouTube. We'll find out. But last thing I did before I moved to Texas was I jumped into Blue Pool. Tamalich Blue Pool. It's like mountain water that's 30-something degrees. Super ice cold mountain water. It's just snow runoff melt that creates this pool, blue pool in the middle of the forest along the Mackenzie River. And I was with a crush, with boys, and I wanted to show that I could hang, and I just shocked them. I took a running, just leaped, and that was probably the most thrilling, scariest thing ever, was committing and your feet like leaving the secure ground and just like, I might die. I might break my neck. I might drown because I didn't know how to swim either. So that was funny because I had to like I can doggy paddle and I can float on my back. And everybody, all the hecklers on the rocks were like, get out of the water. I was fine. Cold water is good for you. I mean, if you look up Wim Hof, cold water, cold showers, cold plunge, I'm pretty sure most people know this now. It's actually really good for you. But I was like slow motion swimming back to the shore. So not so hot, but it was the most thrilling, like exciting thing ever. So, and lots of women love to do, like, I don't know, like try all kinds of things, triathlons, you know. Anyway, women love adventures of all sorts, right? We were made to be a part of a great adventure, an adventure that is shared. We do not want the adventure merely for adventure's sake, but for what it requires of us for others. We don't want to be alone in it. We want to be in it with others. And I believe that's true. Like, we're created for connection, Sometimes the idea of living as a hermit appeals to all of us. Oh, I'm currently living in hermit mode. I've been hiding for like 4 years. My kids and I in 2020, we ran to Texas to hide from my abusive ex-husband. And he found us about like a year and a half, 2 years into that. But that's a story for another day. But I've been hiding in hermit mode, and I really didn't want to come out of hiding because I gained a lot of weight and I don't look my best or feel my best. But this has really been on my heart. I have so many books I want to read, all different kinds of books, not just Christian books. But this one, I don't know, it was just calling to me. Like, I feel like this burning in my heart to like remember, like, I don't know, like the calling of a woman. Like, we have this like built into us, ingrained in us to be both fierce and beautiful and a warrior and a princess, like all of it, and connection and creation and all of it. But yeah, we don't want to be alone. And I have a dream to move to Italy, and I want to live my best under the Tuscan sun life, and like have a little villa to like repair and remodel and restore, and buy goats and chickens, and have little olive field or whatever you call them, little olive orchard. Build a 50-foot long gathering table and have food grown on my property, and have women from all over the world come and gather and feast with me and just be and share and laugh and dream. I don't want to do it alone. So, we don't want to have our adventures alone. What's the point in that? We were created for connection. Create, connect, awaken. I love that. I love that. Okay. My friend Jane and I were brainstorming today, and we created a YouTube channel called U Community. I think U Community Collective or U Community. Anyway, I thought of the tagline, create, connect, awaken, because I really feel like we were made to create and connect, and we're built for relationships with one another, and to connect like our knowledge, our explosive thoughts with our heart, with feelings and emotion and logic, and combining the two and letting it explode. And it's beautiful. Sometimes the idea of living as a hermit appeals to all of us. No demands, no needs, no pain, no disappointments. Not being seen has been great. It's allowed me to be fat. I shouldn't say that. I haven't had the pressure to perform or look a certain way or live up to other people's expectations of myself. I've actually just been surviving. So, but it's also been a time of healing. So I'm grateful for it all. I'm grateful for every step of my journey, even the most painful parts. Like when my ex-husband found us after we ran away, he found us, and my kid, I didn't have a lawyer. His lawyer talked for like 20 minutes, and then the judge ordered them on a plane back to him against their will, bawling, crying, 16 and 13, forced against their will, back to their abuser. And then I wasn't allowed I lost my kids. I wasn't allowed contact with them, and that was those were the hardest, darkest months of my life. And even those days, I'm grateful for the growth. I'm grateful for how those months shaped me. And I'm grateful for my fucking daughter hopping on a plane and saving our family. Like, what a badass. I'm like, how did you even? And she's like, no one was going to save me, Mom. Find a way or make one. No one was coming to save me. I had to save myself. She called her little brother and she was like, bro, I'm buying tickets. We're leaving in 2 days. You in or you out? He's like, bet, let's go. And then I got a phone call. I'm bartending at a fine dining French restaurant, and I get a phone call. Mom, we're landing in Dallas in an hour. Can you come get us? I'm like, can I come get you? Duh, of course. 7 months. It was like 6 or 7 months. I think it was 7 months without seeing them or any contact. So it's like 6 in the morning. They're sleeping right now. 6:32. I heard my son's alarm. I'm so proud of him. I'm so proud of both of them. Anyway. Am I ever going to get through chapter 1? Oh my gosh. Okay, back to the idea of hermit mode appealing to us. No demands, no needs, no pain, no disappointments. But that's because we have been hurt, are worn out. In our heart of hearts, that place where we are most authentically ourselves, we don't want to run away for very long. Our lives were meant to be lived with others. As echoes of the Trinity, we remember something. Made in the image of a perfect relationship, we are relational to the core. We are relational to the core of our beings and filled with the desire for transcendent purpose. We long to be an irreplaceable part of a shared adventure. Let me say it one more time for the people in the back. We long to be an irreplaceable part of a shared adventure. Oh my gosh, you guys. I need a shower. Okay. And the third part. Beauty to unveil. Psalms 45:11. The king is enthralled by your beauty. Lovely little 6-year-old Lacey was visiting our ministry outpost the other day, going from office to office to office, swinging on the doorframe and asking with a smile, "Would you like to hear my song?" Her face kissed by the sun with charming freckles, 2 front teeth missing, and eyes dancing with merriment. Who could refuse her? She didn't really care if she was an interruption. I doubt the thought crossed her mind. She sang her newly made up song about puppies and kitties, fully expecting to be delighted in, then skipped down the hall to grace the occupant of the next office. She was like a ray of summer sun, or better, a garden fairy. Flitting from office to office, she was a little girl in her glory, unashamed in her desire to delight and be delighted in. It's why little girls play dress up. Little boys play dress up too, but in a different way. Our sons were cowboys for years, or army men, or Jedi knights, but they never once dressed up as bridegrooms, fairies, or butterflies. Little boys do not paint their toenails. They do not beg to get their ears pierced. Actually, my teenage son did. I was like, go ahead, it's your body. If you want to look ridiculous, and go get your ears pierced. That was a couple months ago. But I had already lived through one teenage son. So I have a 22-year-old, and he, at Colton's age, Ethan was begging for tattoos. He even tried to manipulate me by saying, "Mom, let's get a matching tattoo. You get an X and I'll get an O," or it was something like that. It was just so he could get a tattoo. He didn't really care about getting a matching tattoo with me. I was like, no. I'm sure he has a tattoo now. I wonder if he does. Oh. Anyway, I'm going to ask him if he has one. There's no need to hide it. Like, I don't know. I've always been a free-spirited mom, but like, I used to be pretty strict. Like when my kids were little, they weren't even allowed to watch SpongeBob. All they were allowed to watch, there was 2 channels on TV they were allowed, Sprout or Noggin. No Barbie dolls, no Scooby-Doo, no SpongeBob. I was very strict. I wanted them to, if they were going to watch TV, then it needed to be educational. I don't know. Anyway, I'm not strict anymore. I guess I'm done. They're all grown up, and I'm damn proud of who they are. So maybe no SpongeBob, played a role. Let's finish reading this, though. Yeah, little boys do not beg to get their ears pierced. Some teenage boys do, but that's another story. Little boys don't play dress up with mommy's jewelry and high heels. They don't sit for hours and brush each other's hair. Remember twirling skirts? Most little girls go through a season when they will not wear anything if it does not twirl. And if it sparkles, so much the better. Hours and hours of endless play result from giving little girls a box filled with hats, scarves, necklaces, and clothes. Dime store beads are priceless jewels. Hand-me-down pumps are glass slippers. Grandma's nightie, a ballroom gown. Once dressed, they dance around in the house or preen in front of a mirror. Their young hearts intuitively want to know they are lovely. I'm getting a warning that the laptop's going to die because it's not plugged in. Whoops. Some will ask with words, "Am I lovely?" Others will simply ask with their eyes. Verbal or not, whether wearing a shimmery dress or covered in mud, all little girls want to know. As a young songwriter recently wrote, "I want to be beautiful and make you stand in awe. Look inside my heart and be amazed. I want to hear you say, 'Who I am is quite enough. I just want to be worthy of love and beautiful.'" Bethany Dillon, beautiful. And I'm going to stop there because the battery's going to die on my laptop. But if you've hung out with me this far, thank you. And you're beautiful. It's hard to believe it sometimes. I'm the worst, but just say it anyway. Say it out loud. Your brain believes what it hears. You are beautiful. You are loved. You are wanted. You are desired. You are worthy. You are worthy of being loved and desired. You're perfect. I love you.